Hey, everyone that's joined so far. We've got about 2 minutes. Um, I usually like to wait up until start time, and then I will get this thing started and get her probably wrapped up in 30, 45 minutes. Unless everybody asks a bunch of questions, which is awesome, then we'll go as long as people want. So hang tight for just another minute or two. All right. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Uh, Turned on my camera, so hopefully everybody can see me. But thanks for joining me. Like I mentioned, for those of you that were on a couple minutes ago, I will try to get through this presentation in roughly 30, 45 minutes. But uh, I'm always a person that loves interaction. So leads me to kind of a little bit of a housekeeping here. In your little Zoom portal, you should have a Q&A option where you can just type in questions anytime along the way. You can do a raise, you should be able to raise your hand. So at certain points, I may just say, like, does anybody want to chat about it or talk? So you can raise your hand, I'll unmute you. If you'd rather ask questions that way, that's cool with me too. So thanks again for joining me, and let's get started. So yeah, here to talk about kind of unlocking booking and revenue surge with proven strategies. So let me figure out how to advance my slides here. So quick agenda, just a little bit about me, about rezStream. I know we have some customers, I think, and some non-customers. Then we're going to be going through kind of the slides part of it. I wanted to build some slides, even though I'm going to be covering stuff in a demo, just because for future reference you can have the slides. Then I'll be kind of just showing you with a live booking engine. And heck, if anybody really wants to go through and somebody else's website, you can put that in the chat too, and we'll talk about it. And then just wrapping it up, and then kind of presenting our special offers. So one little tip trick to get you started here. At the very end, I'm going to be doing a little quiz. I have 5 questions, and if you get 4 out of 5, I'm going to be just randomly drawing a winner $25 Amazon card. So for those of you that pay attention and maybe make it till the end, we'll see about that. So, all right. So about me, for those of you that don't know me, I have been with rezStream for 10 years now, but over 15 years experience working with small to medium-sized independent properties. I born, raised, reside in Minnesota here. And if anyone's in Minnesota right now, you'd know that this feels probably like April and not March or February or whatever we're in here. I love spending time outdoors in the summer. If there is one, it seems like there's going to be a lot of summer this year. And then I love golfing. So this brings me to this little photo here, just kind of a love family interaction here. My son just recently won just last year's NCAA individual title. Shot 7 under to win that. So was able to bring my dad along with to see it. So that was kind of his only tournament he's ever seen, which is pretty awesome. And then I have a 13-year-old too, and I like to say his claim to fame is he's a world ranked Fortnite player too. So for those of you that are familiar with video games, So about rezStream, not going to fill you into too many details, but we kind of focus on core kind of our four uniques. We offer a suite of solutions. So many people know about our software booking engine, but we also do digital marketing and websites. We really pride ourselves in our superior customer service. We build easy to use software, or at least we try to, and it presents a great value. So these are a lot of things that we hear on feedback. You can kind of see some recent reviews that kind of mention those things too. And we do like to rack up kind of Capterra as like, I don't know, I suppose you could think of them as a trip advisor for the software world. So we do kind of win some category leaders and sort of badges there. So pretty proud of that. All right. Now I'd like to just get an idea of who we have here. So I need to figure out, yeah. All right. So if you would please, it's just 5 questions. So if you would just take 2 minutes, answer those 5 questions. What this does, it kind of helps me understand who's on here, what you know about us maybe already, and then just, helps me kind of along my demo and what to showcase, maybe what to spend more time on versus less. So I'll wait just a minute or two, and then I can share the results of people that are on here. Got about more than half of you filled it out. Wait another 15, 20 seconds here. All right. Can we get one more? Okay. Don't want to spend too much time on that. But sharing the results, you can kind of see we do have some people not using rezStream. So thank you for that. Thanks for joining me. A couple of new people, which is awesome. And then we've got some seasoned veterans, which is really cool. And then type of properties, awesome. We have everything represented, which is really cool. And then role, we've got a couple of owners, some managers, GM, some marketing people on here. So that's awesome. And then everybody was aware we do digital marketing websites, which is great. And then what keeps you up at night? I threw this one in there just because I hear this, I ask this in my demos and whatnot. More revenue is by far number 1, followed by staffing, efficiency, and then sleep. Who does that? So somebody's not getting any sleep. Deb, I will. I don't know if I can really relaunch that, but I'd be glad to reach out. Deb asked if we can send that again, and then so I'll try to reach out and get that to you later. So thank you for that. All right, so let's get started. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna go through kind of some slides first, and then I'm gonna go out and just real life. Hopefully, my internet is stable enough to where I can showcase some of the things I'm talking about. So we're gonna be focusing on your website and booking engine mainly. I am gonna go into the back end of the software and show some of the settings in the area in here. We do have a recently released feature. I think they released it just like an hour or so ago that relates to what I'm talking about. So that's super cool. I get to announce it right here live. But so we're going to focus on your website and what gets people to make a reservation, right? So we call them CTAs, calls to action. They're the biggest thing that's going to drive those reservations. So I'm going to talk about 3 specifically: the book now, static booking widget, and then the individual units. And then kind of focusing on each step of the booking engine, or our booking engine. I do know that there's some people that do not use rezStream, but kind of the steps along the way. So step number 1, there's some quite a few customizations that you can make that I will go through again live. Going to be talking about adding a custom message on here, some defaults. So some people aren't aware that you can kind of have some defaults for the number of nights. So if you'd prefer kind of when they do a check-in night that they check out kind of defaults for 2 nights or 3 nights or whatever, and then the default guest types. This is that new feature I'm going to be talking about where we have a property filter. We've kind of had that, but you can now rename this thing so you can use it in a variety of different ways. ADA is big, so we do have an ADA accessible filter on there, and showcasing that. I'll try to cover that in the software too on how you make that appear. Same thing with promo codes. This only appears if you have an actual promo code defined. And then down at the bottom here, some of you that use our software may or may not have this showing, but this is an optional thing where you could show the full calendar. So when they type in dates, they kind of get a view of the full availability calendar. So step 2, customizations. Once again, you can carry that custom message through, but we're going to be talking about the photos here and really focus on the 3 to 5 recommended pictures per unit. I really do want to talk about just unit descriptions and rate descriptions. What this is going to help with is to avoid people kind of bouncing back or having to kind of leave this process, go back to your website to try to find more information. So the more information you provide them, the better. And then we're going to go through here and talk about the ability to do amenities filters. So we're really allowing the guests to sort of fine tune their reservation. This option is optional. Step 3. So we're going to be talking about this packages or extras. So extras, think of it as like a robe or a single item they can purchase, t-shirt, sweatshirt, and then packages are usually a combined experience where they've got a few items that could be packaged together. So same thing here, photos. I like to talk about just keeping it to 1 or 2. There's no need to really bombard them with photos. Usually 1 photo is good for this, but the description is key. So really highlight what's in that package, and then provide options there. So the pricing will just kind of adjust based upon what they've entered there. So, and then the final step, the finale. So believe it or not, there are some things and customizations that you can do on this page. Of course, we've got the basic info. There's really not much customization that you can do there. Credit card processing, again, not really much customization except for your deposit policies. We do have 2 different options for integrated credit card processing. For those of you that may not be aware, we have 2 and only 1, or for anyone new here, we've got a couple of different integrated processors. And then the ability to ask them additional information. One key thing I want to touch on here is not to ask them a bunch of questions. So we want to ask enough what's really important, but if we start making them fill out a bunch of different fields, then it just prolongs that reservation. And then finally, the terms and conditions. So this is something that's customizable. I'll kind of showcase that and go into the software too. So, and then just again, I'm going to be going into the PMS, kind of showcasing a lot of these filters and packages, and maybe touch on a few others. So, and again, if anybody asks any questions, that's fine. If you ask questions that maybe even aren't necessarily related, I do want to kind of try to stay focused on what I want to talk about. But after that, all questions are fair game. All right, let's go. If I can figure this out here, let's go and sorry guys, this is blocking. You probably don't even get to see that my Zoom thing is blocking my menu. All right, so I've got my fake resort website up here. And we want to talk about those entry points. So obviously, hopefully everybody's got a book online, check availability, or some type of button. I know that, when we build websites, we do all three of these things. We have that. Our websites, we like to have a static quick booking widget here that just sort of sits on the bottom, check in, check out nights that anybody can kind of quickly go and do that. So even if I'm looking for, you have a website or web page on family reunions, even if I'm on here, you can then decide, oh, I'm going to start looking. So, and then the third and final step before I go into the actual booking engine is on each individual unit page. So when we build websites, and even if not, we recommend that you, especially if you have individual units, that you have a page dedicated to each unit. And then if you have unit types, you could have a page dedicated to each unit type. So what that allows you to do is, showcase your unit here. So they can scroll through, they can see pictures, they get to see, descriptions, everything else. But this is where you can showcase that individual calendar. So this calendar is really for this particular unit. So on the Loon page, I can actually come in here and start making a reservation if I really want to. This is optional, so you can show rates or not show rates. So that's another option that you can kind of toggle, where maybe you want to show availability and allow them to select, but you don't really want to show rates here. Maybe you offer a few different rates and you don't really want to show. Okay, so let's get into that booking engine. And then, so I know I talked about this, but custom message on the top. This is really great for, nowadays with all the natural disasters. If your area has had some recent storms, you could put here, hey, we are wide open, everything's clear, no need to worry, book now, or just anything you want to portray. You can have different fonts, different sizes, different colors. You can do bold, you can do italics, you can really kind of draw attention to this. So again, pick an arrival, pick a departure date, and again, you can make that default. Same thing here, you can have defaults. I have defaulted to 2 guests, but if you didn't, you could default to none, so they have to choose something here versus choosing dates and hitting search. And then this is the new feature that I wanted to showcase. This was our property. We have a thing called properties in our software, and typically people were using it for maybe different locations, if they have maybe multi-locations, but you can also use it for kind of the type of units too. So if you define a property as, cabins versus campsites, or garden view versus lake view, or whatever it is. So we've always kind of had that, but what's changed is it used to say properties. What property do you want to select? Now you can actually rename that to anything you want. So type of unit, instead of like select a property, it can be, unit type or location or whatever you want to call it. So that is a brand new feature that you can go in and relabel that. So then it kind of makes sense for your possibility. And what that does is it allows them to just kind of filter in like cabins versus filtering on the cabin or just the campsites. So yeah, some customizations there. And then the ADA accessible, again, this does not show if you don't have any units defined that are ADA. And then again, the promo code, that button doesn't appear if you don't have any promo codes set up. So let's do a search here. Then we're going to be talking about step 2. This is where I mentioned 3 to 5 photos. So I wouldn't do any more than that. I wouldn't do any less than that. I love like a bathroom photo, an exterior photo, and then like if you have a good view, and then just kind of showcase like your sleeping area, Those are some quality ones. Don't skip on the photos. So that's one key thing here. Either use like a really nice cell phone camera. Cell phone cameras are amazing these days, so make sure the lighting is great and the photos are good. I just recommend hiring a professional photographer. We don't sell it, but I recommend hiring. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody regretting spending $10,000 on photography. It's huge. It can make all the difference. And then the description. So again, I'm not saying you have to write an entire book here, but I would showcase the amenities. I would showcase just kind of some kind of unique things that might draw them to what that unit is. Even though we have these filters, sometimes people might not interact with that. So the more places that you have that information, the better. And then here's a rate description. So a lot of times with our current customers, they don't even have a rate description. Not that it's super huge, because a lot of times it's just a nightly rate and it's, whatever, $100 a night. That is what it is. But if it does offer something different, or you want to showcase offers housekeeping on a daily basis, free cancellation up to 2 weeks prior, you can kind of, mention that in. So again, if you have maybe a non-refundable rate, your description is, save 10%, pay now, not refund. So give some options there. And again, this filter just kind of, it works. It just kind of reads your different rates. You can kind of see things disappearing and showing up based upon when I click on different items there. So that's really in step 2, kind of the customizations. Step 3, this one's pretty easy again. Photos. On mine, I have a couple, one with multiple photos, otherwise just one photo. I do like a good description here though. Same thing with extras, description, and whatever it is that you. I did have a question I just wanted to address. Kim, thanks for asking. Sorry. Says, can you relabel promo code with booking code? We might be able to do something on the back end for that. In general, no, we have not added that as an option, but that is a good suggestion. So recording all these things, so I'll be sure to share that. But thanks for the question. But so I'm gonna say no right now, but we might be able to help you out. We'll reach out to you. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of showcase what you probably do, because I'm going to relate it back to another product that I'm going to kind of talk about here too. So if you're like most people, when you start typing and you've filled out forms before, it has this auto fill out. So it makes it really easy to fill out forms like this. So it works here on the booking engine. And what's really awesome is it pre-fills everything right away, right? So you'll see it filled in my address, city, state, zip, email, phone number. This is going to be what I'm going to be talking about since it enters the email. So once you enter an email here, we've got a really cool feature that if I happen to leave, we can remarket to that email. But, so then again, not much customization you can do here. And then here's the additional information. So purpose of your visit, how'd you find out about us, and then just some other things. And you'll see these are all optional. I'd recommend making most things optional. There are some things you can set to required. If you really want them to fill it out, which is great, which is fine. I wouldn't make everything required. So if you're going to make things required, just keep it to just a couple of items. You can remember, this is the other thing too, is you can always call people after they book. So just because they booked, it does not mean that you can't call them and ask them questions. And then finally, terms and conditions. You will notice in mine, I have it in red, a little bit larger font. It's bold, it's underlined, asterisks on here. And then, I start out with bold, underline, and then of course I can just include all the rest of it. So what that does is it sort of draws attention to it rather than just having people click through, um, fill everything out. Yeah, I've read the terms and conditions, even though they haven't. That's another reason why we put it into a scrolling box instead of that link that nobody ever really clicks on. They just said that they've read and agreed to the terms. But this at least it gives you the opportunity to showcase a couple of things before they click this button. So that's kind of the booking process and customizations. I haven't seen any other questions yet, just a couple. And again, Kim will get back to you on that. So I'm going to kind of talk about that if they didn't complete the booking. To me, this is kind of one of our biggest no-brainers that we have. It may not work for everybody, but what's really cool is it's super easy to see if it's working, and we have a screaming deal for it too. So what happens there? So they use that form, they filled out their name and email, and then they get to that. They either maybe just can't commit, or their baby starts crying. Um, Something causes them to just sort of like leave, forget about it. Oh crap, I got to deal with something else. Um, so that they've started their visit, they've started the book now, they hit that, and they realize, oh, I'm not going to do it. What this thing will do is it'll actually send them a series of, well, as many as you want. We recommend 3. So the best practice is send them a series of 3 emails. And what we have found to be most successful is 20 to 30 minutes after, send the first one. Then the day after they leave, send another one, and then 2 days after. So that's kind of the best practice, and you can have it an email that is different every time. You don't have to offer any sort of promotions, although I think we have found, like in that 3rd email, if they haven't booked by now, it produces some pretty good results if you're willing to, offer a 5% or whatever, give them something free upon check-in that maybe you, but again, you don't have to. And what's really cool is it does fill in the dates of their stay, and it will return them kind of to that cart. So it will go back to where they left off with the dates and the unit and everything selected. So one thing you could showcase is, quick before it books, click here to finish your book. So I just wanted to share kind of some averages up here. So on average, 55% open rate on those emails. This is pretty phenomenal. A 16% average recovery rate. And then, that increases 30% lift in the average order value. And really just here's what I really like. It's a 40, I didn't know if I clicked on it, it would move it. A 40 to 1 average return on investment, which usually means for every dollar that it costs to get this service, on average, you should see 40 bucks. These are averages. Again, we have a lot of properties that, maybe aren't open year round, very seasonal. So in some months, it might be pretty slow. In other months, they might just make a lot. But what's really great is you get reports every week to how many people abandon, how many people opened the email, did they book, and how much money was that reservation. So you can kind of clearly see how much money it's making. And this is another stat. On average, usually in 1 month, it really pays for the entire service for the entire year. So it's a really cool thing. It's easy. It's a set it and forget it type situation. Okay. I'm going to, before I launch this, I want to go into our software and just showcase a couple of those settings options. So especially since I have some people that haven't used our software before, and maybe some people in different roles, they don't use it as much. A lot of that stuff is going to be in this kind of configuration booking engine area. Um, let me load this. So this is where that new feature is. So in this settings, so this is a new thing. It's the booking engine and then settings. Down here, the terminology is where you can do your property term, and properties basically means singular, plural. So that's, type of unit, types of units, um, again, locations. So think of it like that. But that's new for us. You do have to enable that feature here. So you have to enable that to even search on that. How you build those, for those of you that may not know, is in the configuration section, we have a properties or unit groups. So this is where you define cabins versus campsites versus boats, or garden view versus lake view, whatever it is that you want to do. Because when you manage each unit, when you build out your units, or even later, you can do this after the fact. Each unit has like, hey, what property does this unit go to? Oh, it goes to the cabins one, or it goes to the campsites. So you can literally change this at an instant, hit save, and it's updated. So everything is pretty much instantaneous. The booking engine, the custom message is in here as well. So again, the booking engine section on the custom message. This is where you can build that. And again, it's almost like a word processor. So hopefully everybody's sort of familiar with that. Different fonts, different sizes, different colors of that. You could put a picture up here, although I wouldn't try to clog it up too much with photos or anything like that. But get your point across that you want to show. And you can decide what um, steps that you show that. So when I talked about the 4 different steps, is it on step 1, step 2, step 3, or step 4? We do gift certificates, so you can throw this on the gift certificate page or the thank you page as well. Full availability calendar. If you maybe don't have that right now, or if you're new joining us and you want to show that, so this is where you can hide that calendar. And again, I'll go back to kind of step 1. This is this. So if you don't want this to appear right here, this would be the section to say hi. And again, it can show rates. And if you don't want it to show rates, you can uncheck that. Save that configuration. And then, let's see, I think this is the one that's tied to it. I'll have to, it takes a little bit of time. It disappears. So trust me on that. Here's the state conditions, kind of the terms and conditions I talked about. This is where this is at. So again, be detailed, use fonts creatively to showcase different scenarios there. And again, you can have full access, bullet points, underlines, emojis, anything you want. The custom fields is another thing I spoke about. This is where if you defined a bunch of different custom fields in the software, you can come in and here's all the ones, and you could say, oh, yeah, I want to show, but I'll make it optional, or I want to show and make it required, or I just don't want to show this. So again, this is kind of your all of your custom fields and whether you want to show that or not, and then if you want to require. Same thing with sources of contact, reason for stay. You could even pre-select something here. So again, kind of that default you can select. Speaking of default, in the configuration section, actually, no, I'm sorry, it's in the booking section. There's a, yeah, here's the default number of rooms, default length of stay. So that's where you can have it where they can click an arrival date and then it would default the departure date to 2 days later. So some people, we have a lot of week to week properties that use our software. So you could have the default be 7. So when they click an arrival, it just automatically, the departure date is 7 days later. You can make things, you can have maximum too. So if you don't want them to make an online reservation for longer than a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Didn't talk about this, but you do have the option of showing the total rate for the entire stay that they chose or an average nightly rate. And then you can kind of sort the results by the highest rate, lowest rate, or just kind of the way that you have them. So, I believe that was all of our things that we spoke about. Let me go back. Did want to launch one more poll and then we'll kind of start wrapping things up. Again, if you want, sorry, I should have been looking for raised hands too. If you want to raise your hand and talk and ask a question, or just put the question in the question answer. Sorry, got distracted there. All right, so this is a simple little 3-question thing. This is anonymous, so I'd love to just gauge what we heard from a lot of our properties is that last year wasn't as good as 2022, but 2022 was phenomenal just because of the whole, what did they call it, revenge travel after COVID. So I'm just curious as to the folks that are on here, what your experience was. I'll give it, I'll wait another 30 seconds here. Ooh, I'm seeing some good results here. Got most people that haven't filled it out yet. And I do understand if it's not your role. And I do understand if you have run reports, there's no shaming or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of gauge folks that are on this call. Should have asked this along with your property type because maybe we can find a little correlation. All right, I'm going to give it another 10 seconds. There's a couple of people maybe that didn't answer. 5 seconds. Just do a countdown. All right. Let's share the results. So I'm hoping this shares, by the way. My view on things, I hit share and I don't necessarily see what you guys see. So hopefully you see it. But awesome. This is pretty phenomenal. So almost half of the attendees increased their revenue in 2023 to 2022, which is awesome. One person stayed flat. Revenue was down, not very many. So 11% is down. And then there's some people that maybe just haven't run reports or it's not their, which again, that's perfectly fine too. Occupancy, there's a couple people that was really low, otherwise really good occupancy. Over 70% for an entire year is good occupancy. I know 80% is that threshold where we always say you should strive to hit 80 and not even really necessarily more, because you can, if you're hitting over 80, it means you're not charging enough, so you can make more and do less work. And then what's your number one goal? So an increased occupancy, increased revenue, increased guest satisfaction, but all of the above was by far the winner there. I'm happy to hear that. It's all super important. They're all kind of related, right? Obviously, usually increasing occupancy automatically increases revenue. If you're increasing revenue, doesn't necessarily mean your occupancy increase, but I know more 5-star reviews definitely will get you more revenue. All right. 3 key takeaways here. Oh, somebody asked about how do we activate the recovery feature. I'll actually, that'll be kind of one of our final slides here. So key takeaways: hire a professional, use high quality photos. I do see a lot where I go to some booking engines, even if it's our customers or not customers, and the photos, they're kind of dimly lit, they're old, they don't really represent um, their property as well. Include an exterior photo in addition to some interior shots. And so I put, sometimes less is more unless it's not, right? So I think less is more in the fact of like photos. So 3 to 5, but don't put 10 on there. Don't make them flip through a bunch of photos and get lost in that. This is one thing I recommend a lot. I think more and more people are doing this, but act like a guest. So go out to your website, and this is looking at your actual website itself and the booking process. So really analyze it. If you landed on your own site with I always say go there with your phone and a desktop, just to get those experiences. They should be very similar experiences, but you should check it out. And then go through a booking. Is it easy? What steps? Do I want to change things? Do I want to add more features? Am I not using the amenities filter? Different situations like that. So, and then this is another key takeaway for recovering abandoned bookings. What's really cool about this feature too is you could get a list with emails of people that abandoned, maybe that even didn't go back and recoup the reservation, but now you've got email addresses that you could email to. So email marketing. Webinar specials. I kind of separated it because I know we have some customers that are not, I should say, some customers on here, and then some folks that are not our customers. So I wanted to kind of offer something for both scenarios there. For current customers, that Res Recover, it's normally just $99 a month, but for this webinar special, it's good through the 29th. It's 30-day free trial. So Kim, you had asked, how do you activate that? Reach out to sales@rezstream.com. We'll get you signed up for that free trial. Then you can decide if you want to continue. And that $89 is for the first year. And then it would just bump up to $99. So still really low cost on that. If you're using our software, but not our website, so I'm going to waive the setup fee and offer 3 months free. That includes our integrated, and necessarily talk about that, but our software talks to our website, meaning if you update photos in the software, which updates the booking engine, it can also update those pages on your website with new photos and descriptions and everything. So that's included in these ones too. If you're not a customer, if you're interested in signing up, waive the setup fee, and I'm going to give you the first 3 months free of our software. So check it out. You can sign up. We'll get you onboarded, and you get the first 3 months free. And then again, on the website, same offer there. Because we do have people that use our website that maybe for some reason didn't want to use our software. That's fine too. If you just want a rezStream website, we can offer that. Again, waive the setup fee and 3 months free. Okay, so I don't know how the results are going to get to me. I randomly picked a number, and we'll see how the results. Otherwise, I'm going to have to just probably put your names on here and draw. So, quiz. Here we go. 5 questions, and I'm looking for 4 right answers out of 5. have a bonus question in there to see if you were really paying attention on there. So, and how I will do this is, I don't know, maybe I'll record myself so I'm not doing any favors, or I'll have somebody, maybe my son, draw a name of the people that get it right. So I'll keep this one open just to make sure if everybody wants to play the game here and be entered into the drawing. We'll see here. So far, we've got only about 30% participation. All right, we're at not quite to 50%. I do want to just give the opportunity. I don't want to shut this thing down too early in case somebody's not quite finished. I promise I got one more slide, and that's just giving my email and phone number. So one thing while you're waiting on here, there will be a survey that goes out just in general about our webinar, about me, about the information I provided. Please be open, honest, provide feedback. If there's things I need to improve upon, showcase, let me know. We do offer, I think we're going to try to do monthly webinars. I want to try to do more webinars, like tips and tricks and stuff too, although we don't have that plan. So stay tuned on that. We've got, I think I got one more, but I'm going to end this thing in 10 seconds. And I guess I won't know. I'll have to go through. I probably won't know instantly who got 4 out of 5. It just tells me. So, all right, shutting it down. Let's share the results. You can play along here. So, how many booking engine entry points do you have on your website? 3. 3 booking engine entry points. How many steps is our booking engine process if you use all the options? The answer there is 4. Choosing the dates, choosing the unit, and then optional upsells, and then the final stage. And then how many photos you have? I must have said this over and over again because almost everybody got that right, 3 out of 5. And then how many emails are sent? Most of you got that right, 3, which is awesome. And then the bonus question, really wanted to see if you really were paying attention. What was my son's winning score? The answer there was 7 under, so we got a few right there. So I appreciate you having a little bit of fun with me on that. I will I'll see if I can get an email list together so you can at least see who won on that. So final step, I don't see any other questions come in, and I do not see anybody's hands raised. So thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions, it's sales@rezstream.com. Here's our standard phone number. You probably can't click on that. Schedule a demo, but if you'd like to schedule a demo, just email the sales or on our website, there's that schedule a demo link. So again, fill out the form or fill out the survey at the end. Thank you very much, guys. Happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully you can do something fun this evening. So take care.